We are now in the wonderful month of March, my favorite month of the year. And March in the United States and perhaps in the entire world is celebrated as Women's History Month. So we will be looking primarily at the visual art of female visual artists and celebrating what they have done and the contributions they've made to the very rich cultural life of the United States of America. Before we start that, though, I want to remind people that we also have an extra class tomorrow here at the library. It is one more African-American artist. His name is Kevin Claiborne. We missed the class that we would have had about him last week, so we will be having an extra class tomorrow, Thursday, March 6th. If you want to do that virtually via Zoom or YouTube, you do need to still register on the library website for that class. Excuse me. That class is from 1 until 3 p.m. So it is not, excuse me, it is not a morning Art with Liz class. It is an afternoon, 1 to 3 p.m. class. All right. So Women's History Month today, however, and I can think of no better way to start the group the month by talking about the group of feminist artists called the Guerrilla Girls. The Guerrilla Girls are an amazing group of artists who started in 1985 in New York City. They actually were born in 1984 at a protest at the Museum of Modern Art. And the protest came about because the museum had been closed for renovations. And at their inaugural exhibition, at their reopening, people realized that there were very few female artists and artists of color. Out of 165 artists on display, there were only 13 female artists. And the feminist art movement started 10 years earlier in 1975. And women artists were outraged by this. Nothing had happened to change the minds of gallerists and museum directors in all that time. And the Guerrilla Girls woke up to the fact that protests weren't working. And they started scratching their brains, scratching their minds about what can we do to change the whole environment of the art world. We're doing art. Women are creating art. Why is it that we are not being hung on museum walls? Why are we not being highlighted by gallery owners when we're doing perfectly wonderful art? And that's when the Guerrilla Girls were born. So as always, we're going to start by looking at a slideshow of their work. And then I'm going to introduce a project that we can all try and do in celebration of what they have created. Here we go. Oops, sorry about that. I have to open the slideshow first. Please give me a minute to do that. It's taking a moment for the slideshow to open. There we go. And folks at home, you can see the slideshow. Please let me know, someone. Thank you, Robin. So the first thing I want you to notice is the way gorilla is spelled. Guerrilla, as in guerrilla fighter. It's important to notice this because when you look at the Guerrilla Girls in the slides to follow, they are wearing gorilla masks, spelled Gorilla, like the animal gorilla. And I'm going to explain why in a moment. So let's begin the slideshow. The main part of the group's work is bringing gender and racial inequality into focus within the greater arts community and society at large. And they've done this by doing what they call culture jamming, which means basically they put up posters, they create books, billboards, they do lectures and interviews, they hand out flyers at gallery openings, they have happenings and events where they hand out flyers. And through these jammings, they create interventions to expose inequalities and disparities and discrimination in the hopes that they're going to wake people up to the fact that not enough women are being shown in museums and galleries, and that our artwork is not being appreciated. They try and use humor in their message because they realized that the more serious feminists of the 70s were not getting the message across. And they think, still to this day, they think that the very seriousness of the feminist message was getting ignored. So it's felt now that the Guerrilla Girls' funnier approach, that tactic, might be helping. So this is one of their posters. Notice the design elements that they use that we've talked about in all the artwork that we've looked at over the years. The interesting position of shapes in the composition of the poster, their use of color, the very bright red against the bright turquoise background, the way they use black and white to emphasize certain shapes. It's a very strong image. So the Guerrilla Girls started in 1985, but they're still growing strong today. The members are anonymous. We have no idea who they are because whenever they appear in public, they are masked. And they are masked in these gorilla masks. Now, the reason for the misspelling, G-U-E, instead of G-O-R, is because apparently in the early days of the group, someone in the group, in a PR message, misspelled the word. They didn't spell it G-U-E, they spelled it G-O-R. And voila, that was the birth of Guerrilla, which became an inspiration. It was an inspired mistake because they had wanted to do something that protected their anonymity and the secret identity that they wanted to maintain. And the gorilla idea worked because, get this, this is a pun, it enabled them to maintain their masculinity. Get it? M-A-S-K, ulinity. It also kind of endorsed the idea that being different, being outside the norm, was okay. And it also underlined the fact that artists are always trying to imitate nature, and you can't. I mean, nature is always going to be the best and the most beautiful. And it also honors the beauty and wonder of animals. So the gorilla thing stuck, and they became known as the Guerrilla Girls, not only for their guerrilla, Guerrilla tactics, their surprise tactics, but also for the guerrilla, Gorilla masks that they wore.
They make their own masks.
I don't know. I doubt it. I think they do have fangs. I think the masks are probably commercially made and they just buy a supply of them that they wear, Alice, but somebody could look that up. Good morning. So they wanted to conceal their identity because they wanted, and this is a quote, mainly we wanted the focus to be on the issues, not on our personalities or on their own work. So the Guerrilla Girls are all artists. They are all professional artists who do their own work. And here they're holding pictures of famous female artists who are underrepresented, still to this day, underrepresented in major galleries. So at the time that they began in 85, museums were often privately funded by elites, predominantly white males, and they were documenting power structures rather than art. Historically, the Metropolitan Museum of Art in New York, like other major museums, had an entirely male or predominantly male board of directors, and it had a paucity of female artists on display. Most of what was on display, however, showed the naked female body, which was another thing that the Guerrilla Girls found upsetting. And they wanted to change that dynamic, as well as the fact that few artists were shown. Okay, everyone who's present, never mind. I was going to say cover your ears, but we're not going to have that problem. And here's what I'm talking about. This was one of their major messages delivered with humor. Do women have to be naked to get into the Metropolitan Museum of Art? So the point they were trying to make was that there was a lot of brilliant art by male artists, but it was mainly about the naked female body, not about or done by female artists. Daniel. It is true. One of the things, let me finish. One of the things about the Guerrilla Girls is all of their protest is based on fact. They go to every museum that they protest in front of and they collect data on what is shown in the museum. And they have the statistics to prove that this is true. Go ahead, Daniel. I did. I apologize.
Yes, I was about to say for one thing, maybe they weren't looking good now because there's still the David who is also a naked man, and there's also other Renaissance artists that they're still naked men. So honestly, I think that's a little bit of an extreme idea to generalize that. I mean, maybe maybe they found kind of a big issue out of it, but I don't think that it's kind of fair to assume that it's just naked woman. And also, it is kind of a problem because if being naked, if it's a man and woman, that's kind of like the point of the using the body in art, how can I say, into the appreciation of art.
Okay, thank you, Daniel. Vrinda.
One thing I think, I'm getting out of this, poetry is that, yes, there may be a lot of art about naked men too, but there's possibly there is a lot of art about them not naked as well, where there wasn't much of women besides the naked pictures. Do you see the difference?
Well, honestly, I think that more than more than being learned about naked women, maybe it's the naked men themselves. Because even if we increase the art of naked men, I mean, we're gonna find an excuse to complain and protest. Just because of the fact that they're naked.
I think that we're going to have a lot of discussion about this and a lot of disagreement about this, Daniel. But the idea of the Guerrilla Girls is there may be naked men and there may be naked women, but the art is produced primarily by men, not by women. So the proportion of images are created more by men, less by women. And the art produced by men is mainly done about naked women.
But what is it? Because of the many years, the family consists of husband, wife, dog, bring the money, and then wife in a home, and then take care of the family. That's the system, kept on.
Exactly.
Yeah. Then, these days it's been changing. That's why more women, the professional, coming out. So,
Yes, so this is now changing, and you are right, Yeko. It is part of a system that the Guerrilla Girls have been pointing out to all of us, that the system has been until recently controlled primarily by white men who determine what gets hung and exhibited in museums and galleries. So yes, there is Michelangelo's David. Yes, there are Greek and Roman, excuse me, marbles at the Met. But most of the work that you will see at the Metropolitan Museum of Art is made by men. And a lot of what white males have produced within the cultural system in which we live is about naked women. And, but,
What are they called? Naked men.
well, they are. The things are changing. Yes.
It's a totally different thing. Metropolitan is a historical movement.
Not finish, Alice. Yes.
It's a fact that all the art produced probably before, maybe the 19th century was produced by male. So if you're a historical museum and you're showing the art of the 16th century, the 15th century, it's going to be by male artists. So there's no point in arguing about that. You want to argue about the current art, which is fine, but don't go in.
But I would disagree that the Metropolitan Museum is only a historical museum of art.
That's
Oh.
temporary art, but it should be an open marketplace, and you should be there on how good you are, not whether you're a man or a woman.
no,
You know,
That makes sense, right?
All right. Well, I would disagree that the art before a certain period of time is only male art, because we've talked about women artists in the 18 and 17 and 16. They were the ones that made it through the wall of patriarchy.
Go back and correct the system
Well, I
500
think
years in
I
the
think we
past.
I think we can honor the women who were
Okay,
overlooked.
that's fine.
Okay. So let's continue. I think we can have more about this discussion while we're doing our art. Let's look at the Guerrilla Girls.
Your campaign is art. You're very
That's
creative.
exactly, yes, I agree, Alice. That's why we're talking
Yeah.
about it.
Banana, like,
All right, so their posters are art, and we can look at them and critique them as artwork because they do use the concepts and the ideas, the visual elements of art that we've been talking about a lot over the years in this class. And they do try and use humor, as I mentioned before, because they're trying to get their ideas across in a digestible, easy to understand way. Yes. So, and they're not just protesting here in New York City. This is in France at a show in France. And another reason why they wear masks is because it gave us anonymity. And quote, here's the Guerrilla Girls being quoted from an interview in the magazine Interview, quote, anonymous free speech is protected by the Constitution. You'd be surprised what comes out of your mouth when you wear a mask. I love that quote. The scariness is part of the humor in their work. And a year after its founding, the group expanded its focus to include racism in the art world, attracting artists of color. And they, as I mentioned, they also took on projects outside of New York, enabling them to address sexism and racism nationally and internationally. And I think it's really interesting. They do every museum that they protest against, they collect very careful data and collect the facts. They make sure that they know what they're talking about. To be more inclusive, they make their posters more eye-catching, and they pair facts with humorous images. The first posters were mainly black and white fact sheets, highlighting inequalities between male and female artists. And then they began using color. They also targeted specific galleries and artists in the beginning. And they talked about advantages to being a woman artist in a poster from 1988, one about Louise Bourgeois, whom we've talked about in this class during Women's History Month. It's one of my favorites. It was made in 1988. One of the lines said, quote, one of the advantages to being a woman artist is knowing your career might not pick up until after you're 80, which is when Louise Bourgeois' career only started being known when she was after 80. It really started to pick up. She gained in fame when she was in her 80s. So the stages of being a female artist, that's what this poster is about. I think it's very clever. Notice the arrangement of the figures across the space. It really is eye-catching composition, the way your eye is forced to go from left to right, from smallest to largest, the way the artists have chosen to put the words in the upper left-hand corner is very dynamic and eye-catching as well. And to make the background yellow is pretty awesome. Here is the poster that I was just talking about. It's very hard to read. Those of you who have smartphones can look this up. Those of you at home can find it easily if you Google Guerrilla Girls. This one, I believe, is specifically, I could be wrong. Oh, it's about the Museum of Modern Art. Yes. So this was a postcard that they created that they asked people to send to the director of the Museum of Modern Art or the head of the board. I forget which this was. So the furry teacup is made by a female artist. I'm blocking her name. She was one of the first surrealist artists.
Maret Oppenheim.
Thank you, Maret Oppenheim. Thank you. That was Susan.
Mhm.
A+ for you, Susan. And the cup is filled with gorillas. And there was just a Maret Oppenheim show at the Guggenheim.
So excuse me, are they still active?
The Gorilla Girls are still alive and well. They had a solo show at the Museum of Modern Art several years ago, and it was delightful and funny. It was the history of the Gorilla Girls. It was a wonderful show. So times are a-changing. They were welcomed at the Museum of Modern Art, but they had their statistics on the wall that things are not ideal yet. Things are changing, but female artists are still not getting as much attention as male artists. But some wonderful things. I don't want to say that things aren't great because there are some highlights. For example, Faith Ringgold is now hanging next to Picasso at the Museum of Modern Art, and that's pretty awesome. And I believe this has a lot to do with the advocacy of the Gorilla Girls. Look at this poster, the way they put the words front and center, the antagonistic poses of the two Gorilla Girls on the left and right really works. And then the yellow behind the lettering really highlights the words and emphasizes the words. And then the black outlines around the red letters works extremely well too. Did you just say something, Daniel?
I just want to like, somehow I'm feeling discouraged now to the dark.
You should not.
That's one other thing. And so your point is then that men should start stopping making art and let women make
No,
art.
this is not my point at all.
certain point, some people felt there was not enough awareness of women in it. And all they're saying is that we're here, we want to be seen. They're not saying stop making art. They just want to be seen. They want to be seen more than it's nothing personal.
Then instead of
So you just gotta make room at the table. That's it.
then if there was kind of like a way to, like, let's say, try to prove that they can do anything without, how can I say, making the other parties belittle and
No.
you know
That is,
So, you know what I think? But the mere fact that you're here, staying in your seat, listening to this and allowing it to happen is a gift amongst itself.
because
Does that make sense? So you don't shut it down and say, right, I don't know if you think it is, but the fact that you're even sitting, allowing this to happen, this is the whole point of them doing this, is for more awareness. And it's not that
Yes.
you're asking questions and it's stirring it up. That's the point, without making you wrong or excluding you, but to actually say, hey, thanks, I think you're getting what we're trying to say. Does that
yes.
make sense? It's making more game for us.
We're not excluding you, Daniel. We're welcoming you to the table.
You're saying that there isn't enough women artists and men and all this stuff because there's a lot of men and all that. And honestly, this group kind of proves them a little bit wrong because I'm the only guy here. I don't want to be you know, the example out of it, but I know that times are changing and change of course it's not an easy thing, but the we cannot dwell upon the things that happened in the past and kind of turn it into kind of like a declaration of war. Instead, we should kind of make it more like a diplomacy and understanding. And well, I will say that it's a good thing that you brought kind of like this title. I want to understand that But at the end of the day, I think that personally, this went a little bit aggressive that maybe men's side can handle.
So I want to declare peace, Daniel. We welcome you to the table. We're not trying to say that you are lesser than. We're just trying to say that women want to be equal. We're not trying to change the past. We just want to be equal with, right,
It's not.
not
better.
not better, but equal,
Government
equal to.
is now in government. So why? Because they're not good enough? No.
And you are not guilty of creating a system. And you need to be equal also. Your art needs to be accepted in the art world, just like all the other people who are trying to get into the art world. And one more thing, and then you'll have the floor again. What helps women helps everyone. If there's equality for women, there's equality for everyone. When one group is held down, all groups are held down, Daniel.
But maybe then we were getting a little bit, because no matter how much we try, we can't be equal. We are different in any other way. And you know what? The more we're different, the more there's room for inspiration for art. And if everyone were equal, then
Some parts of me agrees with that. I love the fact that we're all different, but I believe that even with difference, there can be equality. And we're going to stop this discussion now because I want us to do art today also. And I'm going to come and talk to you No, please don't apologize because we value your opinion. We really value your opinion. But we need to move on because we're running out of time. Brenda, and then we're going to move on.
You saw the statistics in that, which is all women up to 71 artists that were represented. So they are not saying often men, they're saying, are they not more women? I just think there are other women are. Vision the being yes. So just having environment because of this fight there, there's representation of where they usually think that women who see now that it is last month or if they so that is what they say. They're not saying that one or the other. They're saying represent everything.
So let's,
Don't suppress any particular.
thank you, Brenda. Let's move on because this discussion is very heated and I want to look at their artwork right now. So the film King Kong, the 1933 film King Kong, was influential to the concept of the Guerrilla Girls. The idea to adopt the gorilla as the group's symbol stemmed from the spelling error, like I mentioned before. To begin with, the gorilla in popular culture and media is often associated with King Kong or other images of trapped and tamed apes. And the comparison between institutionalized artists and tamed apes was explicitly made. And last but not least, oh no, sorry, forget that. And then Franz Kafka wrote in 1917 a story called A Report to an Academy, in which an ape spoke about what it was like to be taken into captivity by a bunch of educated intellectual types. The published story ends with the ape tamed and broken by the stultified academics. But in an earlier draft, Kafka tells a different story. The ape ends his report by instructing other apes not to allow themselves to be tamed. He says instead, break the bars of your cages, bite a hole through them, squeeze through an opening, and ask yourself, where do you want to go? So the Guerrilla Girls are saying to female artists, break through the bars and see where you can go. They're saying you're seeing less than half the picture without the vision of women artists and artists of color. So they're just asking the art world to show all the great artists that are working in the world of art. Not to leave anybody out, but to show everyone, because there are great artists of all different stripes. All right. There's so much to talk about with the Guerrilla Girls. I'm thrilled that it's elicited this much conversation, and there's a lot of history about them, and there's a lot being written about what they're doing today. But now I want to talk about making an effective poster, because one of the options I have for you today is how to make an effective poster. So I'm going to do a very quick run through of a slideshow that I created about good posters. And then we're going to get to work. Is it? No. I did open it, right? Sorry, folks. I don't know what's going on. Hold on a minute. Technical difficulties. Sorry, folks. I don't want Guerrilla Girls. Here we go. Finally. Can we see this one, folks at home?
Yeah.
Susan? You can
Yes.
see it? Okay, good. So we're going to whip through this one. Effective posters. Simple, bold, great use of color. Look at how the word is big. This is not a political message that I'm sending out. This is just great art. Okay, the artist I happen to know is Shepard Fairey. Nice use of dark and light. The way the whole face fills the entire image. Great poster.
And the fun basket. And when you use kind of like the text, the thing is also kind of used like propaganda art or something like that. When you use text like that,
Say it again.
when you use text like that, is it also considered propaganda art?
Oh,
Yes, this is propaganda.
yeah.
This is propaganda. Most posters are propaganda, yes. It's propaganda. It's got a message. It's some people use propaganda in a negative, pejorative way, but it also has a positive aspect. Propaganda is art or posters that send a particular message that's trying to sway people's ideas about something. You could call it propaganda, yes. This too is propaganda. The people who produce Jaws want you to go buy tickets to their movie. You could call it propaganda. I don't want to debate that at the moment. We're looking at this as art. This is art now. So look at the wonderful size of the shark's head in relationship to the figure at the top. That's what gives this image power, right? The way you use shapes matter. If you use the shape, the main shape, if you simplify it and make it fill the whole page, it's going to create a very powerful message. You don't even need the word Jaws in this poster. The shark is making the message for you. But since the movie was called Jaws, it's very effective to have that red word at the top. All right, no words in this poster whatsoever, but you get the message, correct? Clean energy creates a clean earth. Very simple, very effective. I'm sorry, Deanna. Yeah, so that's what I'm saying, clean energy. Right. May not be your opinion, but the message is conveyed. Notice the way the shapes dominate the entire space. There's very little empty space in this image. The most powerful posters are ones in which the message, the shapes, fill the entire poster. No words here at all. You don't have to use words to tell your story.
Without the word, you have to sometimes look more carefully.
That's true too. So that's another reason not to use words is you have to look harder at the image to get the meaning. I love the shape of the hand. The fact that the hand is not connected to a body gives this image a kind of mystery. That makes people go back to look at it. You might walk past it quickly, but then when you kind of go, well, where's the rest of the person? It might draw you back to look closer at the picture. Right. So I think the real message of this picture is how we take care of the earth is up to us. Okay, this is a very gentle poster. It doesn't always have to be bright and in your face. You can have a poster that's softer in what it's trying to say. It depends what your message is. You can convey your message in quieter ways with softer colors. I don't know. It could be a book. It could be a movie. I don't know what this is for. It could be a TV show. I don't know what this poster is advertising.
No,
I don't know.
I think it says the story of snow.
It does say the story of snow. For me, that doesn't matter. I'm asking you to look at the shapes and the colors in this image. I think it's quite lovely. I like the fact that the tail of the bird is running off into the corner of the image. And I like the color, the soft, delicate color of the bird, although it's very dark against the lighter background, which makes it a very powerful, although quiet, compared to the other posters we've looked at. image. It's advertising something. I don't know what. It could be a book or a movie or a song. Could be an album. Maybe somebody is advertising an album. Sometimes the words are the best part of the message of the poster. In this one, the words are, I think, paramount and most important. Notice the way the artist used the picture frame. Notice the way the artist used the picture frame and the way the colors are bursting out of the picture frame. That is part of why you really look at the words. So the yes, you can is all about the fact that you have the power to do whatever it is you need to do. You can bust out of the frame and do what you need to do. So color, the white words against the color, and then the entire black background with the white picture frame make this image noticeable and bold, and it really works as a poster.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, this one's very famous. And it works. Why do you think it works? Don't let me tell you. Why do you think it works? Daniel.
Because it inspiring, it is inspiring, it's universal, and it's motivational.
But why? What is it visually
Well,
that
visually-
motivates you?
Visually, well, you can tell that. But in the case of putting it into a certain perspective, then especially during the time period that this was created, whether it's a woman on the house or it's a woman on the factory and the workforce, they're showing that they're kind of like the heart of it, the heart of of labor and all that stuff, and to motivate them that they can do. In this case, I think as far as I can remember, this was also kind of like a war publicity,
Yeah.
and showing them that during that time women are important, and in order to encourage the woman to lift their spirit, that they can do it. They can also be important parts for winning the war, even from the inside.
This is what we call propaganda. And this is an effective poster because of the colors, because of the position of the woman's figure, very aggressive and pronounced. Her arm is all about power. Yeah.
It's like I was thinking.
And this has now become very current. This is a feminist poster as well.
The famous name.
It was Rosie the Riveter.
Yes.
Yes. Thank you, Alex.
What I was thinking.
I couldn't remember.
There.
I know, because we were there.
Yes. All right, moving along, guys, because we're really running out of time today.
Also, like I was about to say is that whatever the feedback you have on propaganda is still hard.
Yeah.
Yes, it is.
Well, it's in the eye of the beholder, right?
The visual is powerful. It
Yeah.
can be used for good as well as evil. I want it to be used for good, guys.
All the double edged.
That's a good
All the double edged.
This is a very effective poster.
That looks like my.
This is what we call a visual joke. It's very effective. And the Guerrilla Girls used humor as well. That's why their visual campaign worked. I cannot go back in the slideshow, but I'll put it up for you later, I promise. Okay, we're going to rip through these now because we are just, notice again the way the corner is used to draw your eye up. Again, the corner is just beautiful. This is so famous, this one. Yeah, this was the poster for an album. I forget the name of the album. Might have just been called Dylan.
I know.
This was from the 1960s, so the design principles have been around for like forever. The make art, not war image has been around for a very long time. More propaganda. All right, guys. I just want to show you one more thing, I promise, and then we're going to go to work. I have to show you. I have to show you this in order to help you today. This is going to help you in your work today. So good design, the key features. At its core, a poster is made up of 4 key features. A title, if you're using text. Graphics, which are the shapes. The text, again, if you need it. White space, which I always tell you not to have, but you need some white space. The layout, how are you ordering the shapes on the space? Flow, how do you use the shapes in that white space? The color, the order, and style. All right, and we talked about and looked at all those things in the slideshow. So again, you need graphics, you need white space, you need a layout, which means your composition. How are you going to use the shapes? The flow, how does the reader's eye move from shape to shape? Color, the color also defines where the reader, the audience's gaze goes in the poster. All right, color, flow, layout or composition, white space, and whether or not you're going to use text. Any questions? It's a lot to take in. Our project for today, and I'm going to go over all this stuff when we walk around, and we have almost an hour to do this in, is to create a poster, even if you just get to do a sketch of it today. Think of an idea that's important to you and think of a simple way to convey that idea. You can do it in words, in which case you're going to have to think of an effective use of letters. What kind of lettering do you want to do? Or in shapes. What kind of shapes or pictures can get your message across to the reader or viewer of your poster? I have brought in, for those of you who are here, I have acrylic paint. I have colored paper and scissors, markers and oil pastels, as well as regular pencils. My suggestion is there's large white paper. You might want to fold it in half and sketch out your layout or composition first, and then decide what media, what materials you want to use to make your poster from. So instead of trying to go back there and choose, am I going to use paint, marker, or oil pastel? Maybe sketch out your idea first in pencil and then go back and choose the materials you want to use, because we have less time today than usual. And I'm delighted we spent so much time on discussion that was important today. All right, any questions, folks at home or here, on what we're going to create today? And your poster doesn't have to be about a huge political issue. It could be, love thy neighbor. It could be love art. It could be love music. It could be my favorite food is. What would you like to share in a visual way? All right, let's go to work if there are no questions, and I will be around to help. And sorry about that scratchy noise. That's all about the connection of my laptop to the the speaker system here. We have yet to figure out what that's about. Alice, you good?
Yeah.
I can hold the door. Let me hold the door. Oh, there it says. There it is. Yeah, to get out of here. Oh, I'm having a problem. Okay. Oh, no, that one, the other one worked. Yes. Yeah, it is. Unless somebody's in there. If you want to talk more. Let me put a poster on the screen. You can copy a poster if you'd like. Good idea. Well, let me see if I have one we didn't actually look at. That would be nice, right? I know which one you're talking about, though. What about this Eiffel Tower one? You want this one, I think, Brenda. Let's do that one. All right, because it is nice. This one, right? You were talking about? Not sure what the words say at the bottom. Pastel drawing, it says. My family.
Weeks ago, I finished now. Really?
I would freeze that, you know.
Like the Spanish language.
It's my license.
Spanish is the second. Doesn't speak Spanish, it's trying to learn Spanish, but I'm so long.
Porque hubo una voz así. Esa música.
Yes. Let me see. You have a second time.
Well, I hate to cut them.
She doesn't need it. You know, I would just put the orange. Face. Fox face. And then you need fox face. Fox face. Here. That is that. I just done. Drew. Drew? Gary, yes, done. What? Oh, it's first.
Oh, yes.
You love it. All the way to change.
Yeah, with flowers.
And it is the way. You mean in another book? You're gonna touch on this picture. Lots of that love. It's on nature. The right direction. And that's what just starting. Oh. All of them.
unified. You know, the larger circle, unifying on smaller. Message really strong. Well, we're running out of time, so. I will miss it. The Oscar. Validated fast. Paper and Margaret validated fast.
It's like.
It is International Women's Day on Saturday, right? Opposite, you know, reading from Washington. Better off than that.
Yeah.
There's a French.
Came from, Galapagos.
There's a French
empty, so throw it away. Any glue sticks that you take out today that are empty, please just throw them away. You don't have to keep slugging around the empty part. Yeah, that's a great idea. You want to hold it? Not forget.
Yes. Okay, I'm doing the everything. One F is enough.
Watching it's but I want them to you want them.
When if you, oh my goodness, God bless you. You followed her steps. Good. Well, this is my office. Take a break. This is a very important message. Yeah, I don't mean. Remember, it's kind of a quiet song. Yeah, right? Yeah. I know. Maybe it should be something soft. Not something. Okay, fine. I can do this.
So I just want to repeat, I'm not espousing any political message or agenda here. I've only been showing images because of the strength of their visual quality. I know we're in contentious political times and people are very divided and fighting amongst and against, and but that is also the nature of posters, is that they tell a message, they tell a story. And I showed those posters because yes, the library has free museum passes. You do have to get them in advance in order to get to those museums, but it's a wonderful perk.
Museum from New York or only in New York?
In New York, yes. The Metropolitan Museum, you can go for free. But you have to plan in advance. How many days in advance? 3 days, Laura, I think? Okay. Yeah, so check out on the website which museums you can get free tickets for and how many days in advance, or whether or not you have to come in person to pick them up. You could even today, Daniel, you could go up to the front desk and ask. The ladies and men who work there are very, very friendly and helpful. They can tell you all you need to know.
Awakening is free every Friday after 5 or 6.
And also every second Sunday, all the day.
Oh, okay.
Which one?
The Whitney Museum of American Art. And then in the summer, there's one night a week where all the museums on what's called the Museum Mile are free.
Yeah. That's great.
Diego, were you and Alice talking to each other? I love it.
Yeah.
Oh, you were? Okay. Great minds think alike.
Yeah. And no,
Like, somebody said it was very good. Whoa.
yes, yeah, it's really good, but that movie, I didn't make it out alive. I
That's the
didn't,
name of the movie?
no, the movie's called Flow, but
Okay.
that movie is one of the few experiences of the movie that I didn't make it out alive.
Did not.
I almost, no, I almost died of heartbreak.
Oh, so sad.
Especially because I love cats and doing the cat, what the cat goes through that journey. I love doing the whole thing. Oh my God, this poor cat. Don't worry, the cat's gonna be fine, but.
Oh, that makes it in the end.
Okay.
You know, but sometimes, you know, what, being the character during, you know, especially with a very, how can I say it, very vulnerable animal. Especially me, because I love cats. I have this fancy with cat and during the whole journey of the cat. Cat, I just wanted to jump to the stream and see.
You watched it on your computer,
No.
streaming, you went
No.
to the movie?
I went to the movie and I saw it months ago.
Oh, okay, because it's available on Swatch.
Yeah, but sometimes
We'll
that I, well, here's the thing that I learned in school. Sometimes when you see things on a big screen, you can appreciate the things better. And the problem with a screen is that the thing is too small and sometimes you're gonna get a little bit too distracted or the other things. For example, when you're at home, you have to set up all these things and sometimes probably a car like I'm not or your family. You're not gonna get your own movie.
Yeah.
I can see the benefit of, you know, going to the movie in a big screen and something sharing with other people, like the toleration and how they bring their sometimes kids and they break the rules of movie theater. And so,
Yeah, there are advantages to the big screen.
but at the end of the day, we can see the benefit of, you know, big screen. Appreciation.
We have to support movie theaters.
Yeah.
Really,
I do. I go to the movies.
that's great. Yeah.
It's from Cheney. Cheney.
This is twin. This is one brother. Oh, her Francisco. No.
Exactly. That's what Tony's charged. No.
She's gonna get it.
Wait.
She's an artist. She's an artist. She's great. She has some.
Okay, that's why she did all this. Once in a while.
She only listens to me. I told her, no, she listens to me and her garden. You are so forceful.
Now I need,
You said there was wonderful.
whatever, I did one. It was.
And that's the. Well, that's the. Yes, you were.
Where?
March.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Sure.
Okay, how much time do we have left? Folks at home, you good? Are we good, folks at home? Oh, we still have a good 20 minutes to go. We're good. We're doing good. And again, the reminder, tomorrow afternoon, we have our extra class from 1 to 3. Would you love? No, it's tomorrow. I believe there's a yoga class this afternoon here. So the art class is tomorrow. I know some of you love Tai Chi at the multi-center, so you can come after Tai Chi.
I think it's canceled for, which one is? The Tai Chi, that was so
Oh, that's too
expensive.
bad.
Oh, really? I didn't get the memo.
I want to go and,
What do you, what phone is that?
I looked on the calendar.
It says Benson. I will check.
Those of you who were in my class yesterday, you should get a personal notification because you gave them your phone number for the specific purpose of letting you know when things are canceled.
Oh, but she's talking about like she. Oh, I don't know.
Oh, right, that's not run by the multi-center.
No, it's.
Yeah, that's right. I forgot. Seniors in Hoboken now, you have so many programs, I get confused as to who is running what.
What?
You have so many programs, I get confused as to who is running which program.
I have you. And lately they've been cheating, but because I see Laura, I understand that the library.
Yes.
So otherwise,
Well, it's wonderful how the programs are expanding.
yeah, that's.
How does that marker number?
On the table, because I could get. Mark their will. Yeah, that's what I mean. So the one on the table is-
Everybody should show up at the.
I'm gonna get some.
10 a.m.
Tomorrow, excuse me, tomorrow,
Well,
Tai
that
Chi
is
is on.
to rumor as well.
So, yes. You're going to
Yeah.
Excuse me, there is Tai Chi tomorrow. So whoever started the idea that there is no Tai Chi tomorrow. Incorrect.
Propaganda.
Incorrect.
Misinformation.
Tai Chi
We are
propaganda.
used to that.
What were you saying?
Oh, no, I'm just saying, I believe
Library
the one
systems were hacked.
that literally nothing's coming out of it. I didn't put it back in the box, I left it. Maybe I just thrown it.
Yeah, anytime you use a marker that's not working or a ballistic that's not working, just throw it away.
Okay.
Jesus Christ.
On the same side?
I need it back. Where is that? This is just what.
You want more like.
Oh.
What's the other end? If the paint bottles are not full, we can put it on.
She's been his name for 8 years now.
Yeah, well, I never heard it.
Oh,
What did you do? No,
Oh.
come up from this part.
Oh, dear.
Oh.
I can feel the love.
He hasn't done a workshop for us in a while. That's fine.
Oh.
Oh, make a mess.
You might want to think that. Some of that. Oh, you have to shake it up.
Oh, I didn't know.
Yeah, this acrylic paint, you have to shake it before you pour it in. Sometimes the liquid so separates from the solid. And if it hasn't been used in a while. Yeah, they kind of gooey here. In the movie?
Oh, in the movie.
Are you talking about the?
On that, while they were on the Empire State Building, they didn't fall in love with each
Yes,
other.
yeah,
Is it
yeah.
a love story?
Yes, it is a love
Kind
story.
of. They didn't have much time for romance. They killed working on.
Oh,
I was actually loving the original because
just the language.
in the original movie she
Yeah.
was Steven Jackson.
Ooh,
Was
yeah.
it?
Joshua Jackson?
Yeah, in the original movie she always tries to run away from King Kong. In
Aw.
the Peter Jackson movie, they mellow her to have apathy for him and empathy for him. But if you see the original movie, she's always trying to run away from King Kong.
Yeah, she was terrified.
Didn't want this anymore?
It was not a mutual love.
And honestly, I have mixed feelings of the Peter Jackson movie because there's an actor that I despise and I don't like him.
Oh, no, I think.
Jack Black.
No one
That's
can
Johnny
do
Black.
anything.
I don't like him. He's basically a comedian. He's mostly a comedic actor,
Yeah.
but I don't like his style of comedy. He's very mean spirited. Oh,
No, well, it is Japanese origami paper. Well, I think the concepts of story have, so to get individual. That's regular print.
Thank you.
Yellow and orange.
Right?
Professional artists.
Yeah. Remember the thing that I wore all black and what happened to you? Everybody knew that.
So the supermarket, the grocery store.
Like this?
It's all- Yeah.
Such a house.
Oh, I knew. You know what my mind is what?
This is the store, because I bought this in the store.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
I know.
Ah,
Too.
Maybe.
Yeah.
Big Ben.
Yeah, I know. We Target.
What happened there?
Anything, that's really the way.
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay. I won't go to Target.
Really?
Yes.
Long life of them.
She gets, I mean, then she's going to hide, then we back.
And the composition is very good.
I know, I was.
Oh, nothing.
Yeah.
Everybody knows that. They don't tell us.
Yeah.
The end of the war.
Yeah.
Oh. I recommend make this really hot. Blue. The light blue.
Oh, I thought you were gonna say, put a black line around it, but not.
Blue and orange complementary.
Oh, you mean like this, so all the black is fire. Okay.
My,
Okay.
more balls.
He's telling me to put a little around it. Why did you?
Yeah.
Why should you go around white and then with the green?
I think stand up. Sometimes you stand up and you go back and look at your head from a little bit of a distance.
I say stop.
Don't stand.
Well, I'm gonna do you said. I'm gonna put black and you can see.
So we didn't have a whole lot of time to work. Do we want to share or do we want to keep working? It's really time now for sharing. Let's take a vote. Raise your hand if you want to stop to share.
Give me at least 3 more minutes and I'll finish.
Okay? It doesn't look like people want to share, but I'll let you share, Dan.
Here, give me 3 more minutes to finish.
Some masks. I can't, I'm looking for the masks. You're in the pictures, but you're not, you know.
Robin, you seem to be the last person standing at home.
Yeah, I can share.
Okay, I'm gonna stop the share of the picture on the screen. No, let's wait a minute, Robin, okay? Because people here are copying the picture on the screen.
Oh, okay, sure.
I don't want to take it down just yet.
Oh,
Those masks. So when you saw the exhibit, they didn't have an actual name.
Not that I recall them, but any costume shop.
Yeah, but I mean, these.
Maybe they're more, I think they're more.
understand why it is not what?
Buy them and then modify.
Most of it, yeah, it can be found. But
I was, of course, it's not timeless, but if you check what oil pastel with a light color around.
yeah,
Liz, my motor was, yeah, work.
I just hope that it didn't go as far as the painting art, you know, like the experiment that we go into the.
Oh, no, that's terrible, like the ones that, no, but they were just trying to break into the market. At that time they got started, they had a legitimate fight, they were trying that. And, you know, and it's a, which is, you know, that's not, but, you don't say art that the net is long and inactive male artists from the 15th century, that's all their work.
But also, I just think that exactly like one that it's fake.
Oh, yeah.
Is there, I mean, they're complaining about women's body and they're
Brown.
why don't counterattack by making men with penis?
Yeah.
Just making them with penis.
They also, you know, they also have Gorilla Glue, and there's a Gorilla Girl that's an action figure. I found that out.
I don't care. No, I don't have to.
Molly Parton just lost it.
Yeah, I never saw him. No.
Also, great voice actor, we love that.
He was a voice.
No, we also love that great voice actor.
Who was?
He was a cartoon, he was a guy named George Lovell. He made a voice of cartoon.
Oh,
Yeah, he was a very funny guy.
That's, thank you for letting us know.
Yes, Steve, what do you think?
Thank you for letting
Yes.
us know.
You're welcome.
First do the edge, please.
Sure,
So
that's
then
good.
you.
Okay, thank you.
Hold it and.
I know, but I'm doing today, I'm doing everything fast. I am slow, but I can't do today.
Now, when it's dry. Find ones on. The little ice cream. The stars around it.
Yeah.
The ocean. And there's a. Well, I took the. My God. And she was. I check it. Very critical, right? I support you. Well, you know what, she would be nice. And, when I did. It's cute, you can go home and show her. Work. So, I'm doing it. Today, Yes, I know you don't have, they would understand.
No, I just have to go.
You can afford that. I mean, I got it.
Nope, that's it. I'm done.
Right. Okay, so really, we're going way over, we shouldn't be cleaning up, so we're gonna let, I'm gonna take this picture off the screen, sorry to those of you who may still be working. And we're gonna let Robin share her work, and then Daniel has expressed a desire to share, and anyone else who wants to share. And then we're gonna have to clean up really fast because the people who are working on the wiring in here, they have to be back in here at 12 noon. So Robin, hold on, I wanna spotlight you. Wow, be in the now. Great colors, great shapes. Trying to think. I want the words to be more prominent. I'm not sure. Maybe a fine,
Them, like in black or something?
yeah, maybe a fine, thin black outline, nothing too heavy. 'Cause I
Okay,
really like the fine line quality that you have and the textural effects that you have in the background.
okay, sure. That's a great idea. Thanks.
Right. I like your color choices also.
Thank you.
Well done. All right, Daniel. So I should be on the screen up front and no talking.
very
Folks. Daniel is sharing his work. Look at this.
Nice, Danielle. Love it.
Like river flow.
Beautiful.
Yeah, like the river.
Oh, boy, very nice. Very nice. And don't you love how everything kind of goes right to the heart of the poster?
Yeah, I have a rough couple of weeks battling my anxiety. Even I have an anxiety attack this weekend. Talking with people, this is one of those things that hammer into my head, trying to stay calm.
But you said your art helps you, so this really shows.
Sometimes I even doubt that my heart can help because even when a friend tried to make an art and well, I kind of realized that we unintentionally made enemies, and I didn't, and that was a little bit the reason why I felt anxious.
Well, keep doing this, because it's gonna make more friends than enemies for sure, Dan. Beautiful work.
Right.
Well done. All right, anyone else want to share? You know, we didn't have a whole lot of time to create today. Come on up.
Watch the wires. Wow. It's Saturday. Oh, go ahead.
Yeah.
You do the talk.
Saturday is Women's International Day.
Very nice.
In my country, it's a really big holiday. They sell, all the women receive flowers,
Oh,
even from police in the stores. Ladies are taken to the restaurant. It's much bigger than Mother's Day. Romania.
nice.
Bravo.
Yeah.
Thank you.
I would make your letters a little darker.
Okay.
They could stand out a little more. Absolutely. I'm gonna show you those. Go ahead, Eileen.
I'm not finished, but, and I just have picked, I
I
don't have any
being part of
words.
the audience. From now on during sharing. Wow, very strong.
Oh, yes.
That's
good. That's good.
People rolling a ball, kind of.
An orange ball, an orange ball. Is that orange?
Yeah.
That's all. They're pushing it back.
Well done, great conversation. And,
Oh, push it all the way back. Push it all the way. Could be whatever you want it to be. It was nice time.
The Barbie movie inspired me.
right, very strong message in this.
Just a little female anatomy and things we like, flowers, hearts, little phallic symbol on the top. And we're kicking and kicking forward, ladies, with our
Oh,
bottom
okay.
letters.
Oh, I didn't catch that before.
Yeah,
Thank you for
we're kicking
sharing.
forward. Thank you.
Kicking forward. With the K. Anyone else? All right, then it's time for us to clean up and I gotta move. We only have like 5 minutes left.
Nice. You can
So
say.
time to clean up.
Okay.
We don't know where we gotta clean up. All right, thank you. Oh, you're so welcome. So next week we will continue with our theme. I don't recall who the artist is, but another woman will be on our agenda and a whole nother project. Thank you, everyone, for joining us. Those of you online, I'm going to say goodbye until next week and art on.
Thank you so much.
Yes, I will see some of you tomorrow. We will have another extra class. We will be looking at the art of Kevin Claiborne. Hope you can